Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation here in Sanford, Florida. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but we are back up and running here in the top of the second. Again, for what you guys might have missed, the Western Wildcats put up 3 runs in the bottom of last inning, aided by a couple Silverhawk errors, as that is a dropped third strike, but tagged out for the strikeout. So Walken will walk back to the dugout for the Silverhawks, as this will bring Lucas Smiley to the plate with 1 away. Swing and a miss. Might have even tipped that foul for strike 1. Aiden Koenig on the mound for Western has allowed 0 hits. Of course, that top of the first was definitely an outlier of an inning. You see those every few games, but less than 7 pitches were thrown in the top of the first in a 3-up, 3-down type of situation. The last couple batters were out in 3 pitches. Couple ground outs as that gets hit up to the second baseman. Simple catch and throw over to first, and that's out number 2. And this will bring up the second baseman, Jacob Perez. And he will send this. It rolls over to the third baseman, rope to first, and that will end the top of the second. So top of the second went about the same, except for a few more pitches as the top of the first. 3 up, 3 down, as Western has all the momentum. We'll see how hot the bats stay when we return on Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom second here between Western and Lake Howell, as leading things off for the Wildcats will be the second baseman, Noah Graben. And Western leads 3-0 off of 2 recorded hits and also aided by 2 errors. As Graben takes that first pitch inside, ball 1. One of those errors was looked like a routine pickoff play to first. Oh, that's fair. Graben's going to have to fly, bobble down at home, and it's past first base. Graben will say, I'm going to go grab second. Wow. I don't want to say it's been a comedy of errors, but I'd be partially lying if I didn't say it. So that brings up number 26 of Faustino Diaz with a man on and nobody out. Third error for Lake Howell. And again, I've said this before in previous games. Sometimes routine is anything but, and that was an example of it there. It kind of was weird because we've seen plays like that where the ball makes contact with the bat and it goes straight down, which is 9 times out of 10 ruled a foul. But that one caught just enough of like a piece of the bat to go forward, and it didn't hit the plate. So that was in play. So Grabin, luckily, instead of just jogging down to first, just took off to hope for the best. And that's why you do that, because the throw down to first missed the first baseman, and that turned into an extra base. And now Diaz will walk down to first. And runners on first and second, still nobody out. As Coach Giambalvo coming out to talk to the home plate umpire for an explanation. And we'll head back to the top of the order. Ethan Diaz, who already has a double and a run to his name, will get his second plate appearance. Upstairs, ball one. Sometimes in games, you just got to take advantage of what the other team's giving you. And for Western, they took advantage of that first inning, trying to take advantage again here in the second, as that is outside for ball two. Both of these teams trying to leave Sanford, Florida with a win after this beautiful spring break week, and that'll be a hit by pitch. Bases loaded. And for the second time in 2 innings, we're going to have a meeting at the mound. See what the Silverhawks decide to do after the break here on Varsity Sports Nation. We have a new pitcher, number 32 of Keanu Vega. Will step in for the third time this season. According to MaxPreps.com, 0.0 ERA. Not the most ideal position to come into, but bases loaded, nobody out. And he's pitching to number 23, who he's got his second appearance today, Luis Isturiz. Swing and a miss for strike one. Isturiz walked in his last time up and scored a run. Again, bases loaded, nobody out. Beautiful pitch. A dip down last second into the zone, just inside that outside line. That makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that is fouled off. And swing. Looks like the catcher needed a second. As Isturiz tipped the ball and it bounced off the dirt and hit the catcher. You see that every once in a while. Catchers need to get some credit, man. They'd be sitting there giving signals to the pitcher, standing up and down all day, trying to throw guys out at second. Oh, and also, catching balls that go all over the place. That's a hit by pitch. And another run comes home for Western. It's 4-0. Second straight hit by pitch for Lake Howell. As Jorge Fallagin, who was also a catcher, will step up to the plate. Help Western score its first run last inning on a sac fly. Still nobody out, bases loaded here for the Wildcats. And it's 1-0. Drops inside, ball 2. The 2-0. Swung on and fouled. It's funny, there's netting behind the plate, but every once in a while you see people that are watching, they throw their hands up to block it. I don't know, it's entertaining to me. I feel like I put too much faith in the net sometimes, as that gets skied into right center. Caught for out number 1. Second and third will advance, and that's another run for Western. They lead 5-0. As Faustino Diaz comes home. So back-to-back sac flies for Fallagin. Almost said Andreu, but Andreu's at the plate. So runners at the corners, 1 out here for Western. That gets hit into right center again, and this one, I guess no, it was not. It did a one-hopper into the glove of the right fielder. So that'll be an RBI single. as Christian Morales comes to the plate, still with one away. Double play opportunity still available for the Silverhawks. In back-to-back balls hit into right center. First one caught, second one hopped. That is outside, ball one. They say it's outside, ball two. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Sometimes you have that feeling as a batter, and sometimes that feeling doesn't pay off. Outside, ball two. Runners are going to try to advance, and they'll get to second and third safely. Been the theme these first two innings. Runners in scoring position often and all the time for this Wildcat offense. The 3-1. And just inside that zone for strike two. Full count. Vega struck him out. And it's two away for Western. And James Gill, the designated hitter, comes to the plate with two away. Outside, ball one. The 1-0. That one is ball two. That one looked like it was going to be framed, but is not. Ball three. Vega trying to get out of this inning and not allow any more base runners aboard. That one is framed for strike one. And that one just inside. Of course, it was an inside pitch anyway, but just inside the zone. And we have another full count. Vega picked up the first strikeout by a Lake Howell pitcher. This is hit into center, and that's caught for out number three. Western records 3 more runs. Lake Howell picks up another error. 6-0 for the home squad on the scoreboard. We head to the third here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the top of the third. Lake Howell trying to find some offense, as that is fouled down the third baseline. Liam Hall leading things off. It's been 3 up, 3 down the first 2 innings for the Silverhawks. Trying to change that here. So that's in for ball 1. Still on the mound for Western, Aiden Komick. That gets over his glove. Second baseman is there. Yocks it to first in time. And that's another ground out. 6 of the 7 batters that have had a plate appearance for the Silverhawks have grounded out. There's been 1 strikeout. Again, we believe that's going to change over the course of the game, but as of right now, no recorded hits or players reaching base yet. As this is Xavier Andrade, the first baseman. Andrade hits it back to the pitcher. He'll play catch with the first baseman, and he is gone. So 7 of 8 batters have grounded out for Lake Howell. Valen Vergara. Correction, Valen Vergara. That gets through the defense. Going to be an interesting throw to first, and it's not in time. So the first man to hit base is Vergara.
Now back to the third baseman, Diego Miranda.
So courtesy runner will come in for him. This is Isaiah Nieves. So it took 9 men for the first one to reach base, and we head to the top of the order. Diego Miranda with a man on and 2 out. And that is not quite in the zone for ball 1. That gets hit into center, or sorry, into right. Oh my gosh! Oh, they almost got him. The runner at second got a little careless, and he almost got out. Oh my gosh. Insane. So after the first 8 batters either grounded out or struck out, we've had back-to-back singles for Silverhawk batters. Drew Baker trying to make his presence known here in the top of the third. That's fouled off for strike 1. The 0-1. Fouled off, 2 strikes. The 0-2. This is swung on into shallow right. in foul territory, just out of reach. Had the second baseman, the first baseman, and the right fielder run over towards it, but Baker lives to see another day. They'll throw it down to second, and in time! The runners out. Silverhawks still looking for some runs. Western feeling it as we head to the bottom of the third. Landon Young will start things off here in the bottom of the third for the Wildcats. Got a new pitcher on the mound for Lake Howell. This is number 7 of Nathaniel Grimm. Trying to do his best to make things grim for the Wildcats, no pun intended. Second appearance of the year as a pitcher for the Silverhawks. That was fouled off for Young, as based on the sound, might have hit a car that was in the parking lot. The 1-2. Wow, what a pitch from Grimm. And that is one retired here for Western. So Noah Grabin comes to the plate. So Grabin fouls that off for strike one. His last at bat, he reached on an error off that weird sequence where He made contact with the ball. It landed fair just in front of the home plate bag. And then the throw down to first was missed, and he ended up getting all the way to second. Outside, ball 2. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. And Western coming into this 10-7 on the year, finishing the last season 13-16. As that is upstairs for ball 3. As Graben reaches base once more, this time on a walk. And this will bring Faustino Diaz up with 1 away. This Western squad made it into the playoffs last year. Went to 3 games out of a 3-game series against Taravella. So trying to build on that this season. Looking for their first winning season since the 2023-2024 season, which they finished 19-10. Made it into all the way to May 7th, where they fell to Columbus. The 2-0 ball inside, ball 3. See if Grimm, as we've seen many pitchers before, start throwing some down the middle to try and make the batter think a minute. There's the first one. Umpire says, not so fast, Diaz. Come back. The 3-1. Called it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And there it is. Grimm, like the Grim Reaper, giving the batter some hope and then taking it away. 2 batters struck out in this inning. As we head to the top of the order, Ethan Diaz. 1 for 1 with a double. Also was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. Blake Howell doing a decent job of keeping the Western offense at bay in this inning. Outside, ball 1. Western scoring 6 runs in the first 2 innings, off only 3 hits, but also aided by 3 Silverhawk errors. Outside, ball 2. It's been consistent with the wind this week. You see that flag over by the school past the ballpark. It's been blowing mostly towards right field and first base, occasionally changing down to home plate. Low in the zone, ball 3. But we saw some home runs beginning of the week. Haven't seen any since, I think it was the second day. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Be cool if we see a home run before the day's over today here at Sanford Memorial Stadium. Swing and a miss, strike two. Runner going down to second, and he's safe. Silverhawks shortstop Drew Baker thought he had him. But that moves the Wildcat runner into scoring position. And that gets tipped. Keeps it at a full count. In the dirt, ball four. Mr. Diaz will go down to first base. As Luis Estevez. Isturiz, excuse me. I'm trying, guys, with this name. Isturiz watches that come in. Ball one. And runners on first and second. 2 outs here for the Wildcats. Silverhawks trying to give themselves a chance and not allow any more runs to come in. This is hit into deep left. Does it have a chance to fall? It does! 1 run's coming home. They're going to stop the runner at third. 7-0 Wildcats as Graben comes home from second.
Play the catcher, Jorge Falligan.
So Jorge Falligan with 2 runners on and 2 out, both runners in scoring position. This will be bounced up to the shortstop. Throw to first, and that'll end the inning. Western gets 1 more. They've got 7, Silverhawks, nothing. Top 4 coming your way when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. We're back here in the top of the 4th. Silverhawks trying to get on the board. as that is hit up high by the pinch hitter. And that's caught in center field for out number 1. And correction, thought it was a pinch hitter. But it was just Drew Baker.
At the plate, number 23, Jackson Turner.
That brings to the plate for the second time Jackson Turner, the Montreat commit. And he is one of 7 Silverhawks committed to college. And that makes it in the zone for strike 1. Still dealing on the mound for Western is Aiden Connick. Outside, ball 2. Only allowing 2 hits through the first 3 1/3 innings. And that'll take a couple hops up to the second baseman, another ground out. And it's 2 away.
At the plate, designated hitter, Isaiah Walken.
First 8 batters Connick faced, struck out 1. 7 of them were ground out. Took till the 9-hole spot to get a single for the Silverhawks. They're going to say he didn't go. It's ball 1. Here for Isaiah Walken. And he keeps it behind the first base line again, ball 2. That time it's fouled off. Strike 1. And I said this throughout the week, sometimes games come down to who's pitching. And I mean, nothing too crazy from Connick, only 1 strikeout, but the defense has had his back throughout this game as we're in the 3 2/3 mark of the top of the 4th, and just been solid gameplay from this Wildcat defense. The 2-2. Fouled off again. But sometimes in a game like this, it's all about momentum, and even in the bottom of the 3rd where the Wildcats only scored 1, that's a strikeout swinging, second one today. Both have fallen at the helm of Walken. Momentum fully with the Wildcats. We head to the bottom of the 4th. 7-0 is your score. Leading off the Wildcats here in the bottom of the fourth, Gavin Andreu. Gotten busy in this game. Single and an RBI single to go along with a run scored. Hill will sky this into center field. And that'll be caught for out number one.
At the plate, second baseman, Christian Morales.
So Christian Morales comes to the plate with one away. Inside, ball one. Outside the zone, ball two. Inside, ball three. And we've seen Grimm do this to a couple batters last inning. More than likely, he's going to throw a couple strikes now. There's the one. That is fouled off. Strike two. Full count, one away. Great discipline there by Morales, and he'll take his base.
At the plate, number 12, James Gill.
So James Gill steps up, one on and one out. Inside, strike one. Inside again, strike two. That gets past the pitcher. Will sneak into center field. And we've got a safe man at first and second. As we've got a pinch hitter, Leo Mirabal. So Mirabal will bat for the first time with runners on first and second and only one out. Swing and a miss, strike one. This is just his 10th game he has played in as a batter. No hits, but he has 5 scored runs. He's batting in place of so watch that drop outside for ball one. He's batting in place of Landon Young. The 1-2. Outside, ball two. and struck him out. 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th. As Noah Graben comes to the plate with 2 away. And Graben, this will trickle up to second. Throw to first. In time. It was going to be close anyway. But the Silverhawks hang on and don't let any more Western runs come in. We'll head to the 5th. Silverhawks down by 7 when we return. Lucas Smiley will lead things off here in the top of the 5th for the Silverhawks. Silverhawks got a couple runs in the 3rd, but has been silent before and since then, except for that time. So Smiley reaches base for the first time. And center fielder was trying to dive and make an athletic catch there, but it just fell out of his glove. As Jacob Perez comes to the plate with one on and nobody out. Wind is blowing towards home plate now. Outside, ball 2. Again, coming up around 11:30, Dr. Phillips will be taking on Eustis. Eustis in the stadium now looking on. That is fouled off, strike 1. Score update up at Sperling Sports Complex. Pembroke Pines Charter leads Deltona by a score of 3-1. Be the first of 2 games out at Sperling. That will sneak into right. 2 runners aboard for the Silverhawks. As Liam Hall comes to the plate. So back-to-back hits to start the inning. Silverhawks trying to cut into this lead. Upstairs, ball 1. Eustace and Dr. Phillips, who is up next, trying to leave this tournament with a split. Each team coming in to the game next, 1 win and 2 losses. As Liam Hall sits in a 2-0 count. And that one gets in the right. Base is loaded for the Silverhawks. As they throw it down to home. Mishandled by the catcher, luckily. For Western, Connick was standing back there.
Plate number 15, Xavier Andrade.
As Xavier Andrade steps up with nobody out. Silverhawks had 2 hits total coming into this inning. They've have 3 straight. Outside, ball 1. Outside again, ball 2. Just missed the zone. This is swung on into center. Silverhawks going to try to send one home. They do. And the throw comes in back to the pitcher, and the Silverhawks are on the board for the first time in this inning. Off of a sac fly from Andrade.
At the plate, number 6, Valen Vergara.
So Valen Vergara with runners at the corners and 1 retired. Almost framed in the zone by Isturiz. That'll be fouled off for strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. Outside, ball 2. That one makes it in the zone. Strike 2. Count is even. As Vergara steps off. Runner goes down to second, but will have to return. That is fouled off. Fake the throw down to third. This gets hit into shallow center. See if Lake Howell sends another one home. They will. But nice throw down to home. Keeps the runners at the corners. 2 retired.
At the plate, the third baseman, Diego Miranda.
And this brings back Diego Miranda for his 3rd appearance. Ethan Diaz with a great throw from center field. Keeps this a 6-run game. Again, faked the throw down to third, but good thing he kept the ball because the third baseman was not in the right position there for a throw like that. That is tipped foul for strike 1. And throw over to first. Not in time. That is fouled off, strike 2. The 0-2. Outside, ball 1. Runner gets down to second base, so both runners for the Silverhawks are in scoring position. The 1-2. Dropped pitch, evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That is swung on shallowly. Throw to first, and it misses. So 2 runs are going to come home for the Silverhawks. It's 7-3. Perez and Hall come home from second and third.
At the plate, number 1, Drew Baker.
As Drew Baker comes to the plate. So Miranda will reach base by virtue of a throwing error. I guess you could say a fielding error as well. Throw down to first, just barely safe. It was a close one. Another throw down to first. Baker waiting for a pitch. And that's ball 1. Runner goes, and it's fouled off for strike 1. And that is fouled off. Landon Young, or correction, Leo Maribel, who took over for Landon Young in right field, ran as fast as he could, but not enough real estate. The 1-2. Throw it down to second, too high of an arc, and it gets into shallow center. So another runner in scoring position for the Silverhawks. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Silverhawks get on the board. They score three, cutting the Wildcat lead to 4. Wide to the bottom of the 5th here on Varsity Sports Nation. Bottom of the 5th here on Varsity Sports Nation in game 1 of 4 at historic Sanford Memorial Stadium. Silverhawks had been shut out until the top of this inning, able to get 3 runs home off of 3 hits and aided by a Wildcats error. A swing and a miss for a 0-2 count for Faustino Diaz. That just outside the zone, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Now batting number 2, Ethan Diaz.
It's the fifth strikeout tossed by Silverhawk pitchers as Ethan Diaz comes to the plate with 1 away. Outside, ball 1. Diaz showed bunt, but the ball was outside for ball 2. Swung on and gets through the Silverhawk defense for a base hit. It's the fourth time that Ethan Diaz was at the plate. He's reached base all 4 times. Double, hit by pitch, a walk, and now a single. As Luis Isturiz comes to the plate with 1 away. And the ball drops, allowing Diaz to get to second. I believe that came in for ball 1. And confirmed by the umpire, it was ball 1. As Isturiz showed bunt, but did not connect with the ball. And that gets into shallow center. Almost hit the ump and the... Oh my goodness. That was a single stretched into a double by Isturiz. Wow.
To play the catcher,
Jorge Fallion. Runners at second and third. Still 1 away for Western. Could have had a easy out throw down to second, but chose not to do that. Down the middle, strike 1. Again, coming up approximately around 11:30, Dr. Phillips and Eustace will do battle. Both teams 1 and 2 in the tournament, trying to end with a 2-2 split. One of the 4 games that they will have played. This is hit into center. Caught for out number 2. The throw down to the pitcher is caught, and 1 run sneaks home for Western. Ethan Diaz makes it a 5-run game at 8-3.
Now batting first baseman, Gavin Andreu.
So with that at bat by Falligan, he's been to the plate 4 times. 3 of them have been sac flies. So 2 away, runner on second here for Western. That one sneaks away, but not far enough to try for third. They're going to say that was fouled. That landed not quite across the line. And Noah Graben's first at bat had a similar situation, except that landed just in front of the bag and was declared a fair ball. And with all the confusion and chaos, he reached base on an error and stretched it into a double. This will trickle up to the shortstop. Throw to first. In time. First baseman stays on the bag. And that'll end the inning. Western gets 1 more. They stretch their lead back to 5. It's 8-3 as we head to the 6th. We have a pinch hitter to start the sixth here for the Silverhawks. This will be right-handed batter, number 11, Keegan Bloomdahl. And he'll make connection with that. Whew, landed in the bullpen. For a foul and strike one. Bloomdahl just his 7th game as a batter this year, hitting 167. But this being the last game for both of these teams in this Invitational tournament, might see the Silverhawks try some things to try and give themselves a chance to cut into this Western lead, as that is into right center and caught for out number 1. We've got, looks like another, no, it's actually, correction. That's the designated hitter of Isaiah Walken. Had a quiet day, 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts. And he'll take that swing and a miss for strike one. And not a bat-friendly day, at least with the deep ball. And he'll ground the, wow. That was a ground out. Barely. Andreu had to glue his foot to the bag. Might have even had to reapply the foot to the bag. And that's 2 away. What a catch, or what should I say, a catch on the one-hopper by the first baseman who was on a knee. And you just heard the ESPN sound effect. That was definitely an ESPN-worthy play, if they're watching. Put that on SportsCenter. Anyway, Silverhawks, 3 up, 3 down, just like the first couple innings. Well, at the bottom of the 6th, Lake Howell down by 5. Back at you here in the bottom of the 6th between Western and Lake Howell. First 2 pitches are strikes here for Grimm. He's done a decent job on the mound for the Silverhawks despite what he was thrown into. As this is going to be hit. Shortstop had to make the throw from his knees. You see major leaguers do that all the time, but for the high school level, it can be a little bit harder. The attempt was there, but the single is still recorded as James Gill comes to the plate with one on and nobody out. Drops in for ball one. The 1-0. And trying to bait the batter to swing, but good discipline there by Gill. Whew, that one was close. Gill had to take a step back, but it just kisses the line of the strike zone for a strike. Just barely missed it. Catcher tried to frame it. Valen Vergara, but 3 balls, 1 strike. This one makes contact. They looked like they were going to try for the double play, but just a mishandle there by the third baseman. So both runners are aboard safely. Haven't seen this since about the third inning, or should I say the second inning. But Giambalvo will walk out to the mound and have a conversation with his infield. We'll be right back. We've got a new pitcher for the Silverhawks. Noah Cruz. As that ball gets away from the catcher, runners will advance to second and third. This is Leo Maribel, second plate appearance. Last time he was up, he struck out. Took over for Landon Young in right field. That is fouled off for strike one. Two balls, one strike. Upstairs, ball three. So, been the theme for Western most of the game. Runners in scoring position. Up by 5. Good pitch there by Cruz. Cruz, one of 7 college commits on Lake Howell's roster, going to Daytona Christian College. Wow. That was fouled off. It hit the edge of the roof of the stadium and bounced back into play.
Hey, are you guys hitting back there on that field? Yeah, we can't hit a live back there because it's too short. The neighbors get pissed off. Oh, okay. Okay, that should be fine. All right, okay.
The 3-2. This is skied into center. Caught for out number 1. They'll send the runner home from third. And he makes it in. Tips his cap before he takes it off. And it's 9-3 Western as Morales makes it in from third.
At the plate, number 3, Noah Graven.
So a sac fly for Mirabal. Noah Graben to the plate with 1 on, 1 away. As that is skied behind the plate into foul territory and yanked out of the air by Valen Vergara. And there's 2 away. Great concentration by Vergara. Pitches in for
At the plate, number 16, Jack Hall.
Jack Hall at the plate for the first time this morning for Western. Hall, 8th appearance as a batter, or 8th game he has played in, excuse me. 2nd plate appearance this year for the sophomore. He's got a runner in scoring position with 2 away. 1-2 count. That is skied into center. Wind stopping it in the air, and that will end the inning. Western extends their lead back to 6, as they did at the end of the 2nd. We will head to the 7th. Silverhawks got some work to do to try and extend this game here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the top of the 7th between Western and Lake Howell. Jacob Perez, the second baseman, batting just for the 3rd time today. Pitch goes outside, ball 1. Still on the mound for the Wildcats, Aiden Connick. Should see him for the rest of the game, unless Western wants to make a change. Coach Onel Garcia. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've seen him walk out to the mound. If he did, if it was once this entire game. Two 2-1. And that was going to go fair. Just goes off the base of the bat. And that was a couple inches to the right of being a hit by pitch. And if you're Western on defense, you'll take it.
At plate number 5, Liam Hall.
As Liam Hall comes to the plate with one away. Silverhawks need 6 runs to force a bottom of the 7th. As they foul that one off, strike 1. Just misses a heavy-duty truck sitting over there. Just outside, ball 1. Silverhawks have not had the easiest slate today. Committed 3 errors in the first 2 innings. Western took full advantage, scoring 7 in the first 3. But as I said throughout the broadcast, some games are just like that. And it all starts with who's on the mound for either squad, combined with sometimes fielding mistakes, or on the other side, to give credit to the bats, just bats that are on fire. The 2-2. Upstairs, ball 3. Connick taps his chest, saying, "That's on me." That is fouled off. Keeps it at a full count. This will be, it's going to dance right around that foul line, and stepping back to catch that was Gavin Andreu down at first base, and 2 runners retired.
Number 15, Xavier Andrade.
Xavier Andrade. Last hope here for Lake Howell. He's had a ground out and a sac fly on the stat sheet today. Sees that pitch right down the middle for strike 1. And that is skied into right, and that'll do it. Western ends their week here in Sanford with a victory. Very decent game by their starting pitcher of Connick.
The final score, Western 9.
And Western takes home the victory 9-3.
How about a round of applause for both teams and a great week of baseball?
Western ends the week with 2 wins and 2 losses.
Don't forget to tune in to the tournament website Sunday for the
And Lake Howell finishes with 1 win and 3 losses this week. Great baseball from both teams nonetheless.
with what to do over your spring break. We thank you for
Quick score update before we sign off on this game for around the league.
good luck to both teams
Pembroke Pines Charter leads Deltona 4-1
next year. Travel home.
in the 6th inning, and Lake Minneola and Martin County getting started out at Lyman in just a few minutes. That does it for Game 1. Again, final score, Western Wildcats 9 and the Lake Howell Silverhawks 3. Coming up next at about 11:30, Eustis and Dr. Phillips will do battle, each team looking to finish with a 2-2 record here in the Florida League Tournament. That does it for Game 1. We'll be here for Game 2 in about 30 to 40 minutes here on Varsity Sports Nation.